Hey guys, Josh here from Sportitude Running. I have a shoe review to do today, and it's a super exciting one and super play on words because in my hand I hold the Supercomp Trainer from New Balance. Now, this is a completely new shoe for New Balance. It has come into their range for the mid part of 2022, replaced the Fuelcell TC, which some of you would be aware was around the place. It was a full-length carbon plate shoe that was a pretty versatile number. It could be used for your tempo sessions, also race day for some people as well. However, the Supercomp Trainer is very exciting, a lot of shoe underneath the foot, and in today's review, we're going to go over every single aspect of this shoe, talking the outsole, the midsole, and the upper, and give you all the information that you need at home to, who knows, make this your next shoe purchase. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. Supercomp Trainer Max Cushioned Shoe. I mean, we're talking 47 mils in the heel, 39 on the forefoot for a variance of 8mm heel to toe drop. The shoe itself has a new carbon plate positioning throughout the midsole, so the energy arc has a slightly different camber to what we're experienced with other carbon plates out there. We are looking at absorbing as much of that energy, so store as much energy through the midsole and generate a really snappy propulsive feel through the forefoot. And that is certainly on play with this shoe. Right from the entry to the release point, this shoe feels soft. It gives you a nice little nudge and pushback as you accelerate out of your gait cycle. And the great thing about this shoe as well is it has a nice dialed in lightweight upper with that gusseted tongue. And in today's review, we're going to go through all of that and more. So let's start off with the outsole first. So as you can see underneath the shoe itself, there is a unique take on how New Balance have executed their outsole. So you can see this big vertical decoupled line through the central part of the shoe itself and exposing that carbon plate, which is their new energy arc technology. Now we'll talk about that carbon plate in the midsole component of this review. So talking all things outsole, we can see purple rubber, which has been strategically placed on the lateral and medial side of that heel region of this shoe to provide an element of protection for that midsole when the runner comes down on that entry point. As we come through to the forefoot, again, that same philosophy does go around the border of that shoe through the front half. So there is an outsole piece that sits right around the frame of the forefoot, as well as this almost like a little metatarsal metdome pod reversed on the base of the shoe itself through here. Now that has been strategically placed just to give that carbon plate a little bit of protection because the carbon plate does dip down quite low in the forefoot of this running shoe. So therefore that'll just, you know, keep that carbon plate from showing some unusual wear over the time. The other great thing I love about this shoe, and I like to call it out, is it is on a really generous stack height. Again, we'll talk about in the midsole, but the surface area is fantastic. You've got a really large footprint. So by being super cushioned, you're going to get that tendency to maybe feel a wee bit unstable, and that's certainly the case when you put this shoe on and you stand in it or even walk in it. It really doesn't have a great stable feel. However, it's not made for walking or made for standing, and this shoe is made for running. So therefore, increasing that surface area when you run on this shoe, you're going to get a little bit more confidence with your foot placement, and that's exactly what New Balance have been able to do in executing that broader platform underneath the shoe with the outsole. Okay guys, let's dive into the upper of the Supercomp Trainer. Now, less is more in this case. Now, it's kind of a bit contradictory because this shoe is on a max stack cushioning system, so thus we were thinking about more is more. But with the upper especially, taking out some components to make it nice and light and really breathable, New Balance have nailed the brief. A really breathable open forefoot with regards to the mesh configuration. So the engineered mesh construction has been really well executed. I love what this shoe does for total ventilation through the front half. As we come through to the middle of this shoe, now no surprises here, the tongue itself is gusseted. You would expect that with the shoe so soft and with a plate construction underneath the foot. So there is going to be quite a bit of velocity of movement through that mid-stance to toe-off region of your gait cycle with this shoe. So therefore, the gusseted construction plays a critical role with keeping that foot nice and stable on top of that platform. The other good thing about that I'll just touch on is the shoe itself isn't crazy tight. When I first got it out of the box and I did see that there was quite a bit of elasticity with this booty construction, I was a wee bit nervous about how tight that would feel on top of my arch. Now I've got a pretty generous arch. I mean, I'm sort of fall between a D and a 2E from time to time, depending on the brand. However, this being a D width, I felt really good, nice, secure. So just keep that in mind. Coming back to the rear of the upper, we have a good construction heel counter. There isn't a hard piece of plastic plastic at the back through here, which again, I wouldn't expect because it is a slightly lighter upper, but they have just reinforced the construction to give a really good solid grab around the back of your heel and calcaneus region, which is good. And the other piece I love about this shoe is the internal collar around the ankle and your Achilles as well. So you can see the differences in color from the green to the purple. So the purple lining is just a little bit of extra padding and foam just to provide a wee bit more comfort, and New Balance have got it right as well. And it just comes up a little bit high here, not like we've seen in the last couple of seasons with huge Achilles flares, a little tiny Achilles flare just to provide a little bit more comfort too. Okay, last but not least, the fun part of this shoe is in fact the midsole. So as we have touched on in the intro, this is a max cushioned or max stack or high stack, whatever you like to say at home. This shoe has got a lot of foam underneath your foot. It's the easiest way to say it. So just to touch on those statistics again, 47 millimeters in the heel, 39 millimeters in the forefoot for a variance of 8 millimeters. Full length fuel cell cushioning underneath the body. Now that is a very soft but a snappy foam. So what we have seen with fuel cell over the last couple of years, if you've been a runner and used the Rebel V1, V2, V3 coming, and other shoes out there like the RC Elite using that fuel cell technology. I mean, it is a really soft but super responsive foam. And New Balance using it in this shoe on a higher stack height have really taken into consideration a lot of key factors. Now, to offer such a high stack, you need to restabilize that midsole, and they've been able to do that using this Energy Arc carbon plate technology. Now, I'm going to do my best to explain to you at home what they have done. So majority of the time when we've seen carbon plates over the journey, we'll either see the carbon plate to start out on a neutral line, so a parallel line from the base of the shoe to where the ground is, and then it'll dip down through to the forefoot to generate that speed and propulsive feel from mid-starts to toe-off. The Energy Arc technology that New Balance have offered here, it actually starts a little bit lower in the heel. It comes up, so we actually ascend up towards the arch of the foot, and then it dips down through to the metatarsal region. So therefore, we have found running in this shoe, and I personally have found this shoe to actually have a more enhanced rocker feeling through mid-stance to toe-off. I haven't found the heel itself to be uncomfortable at all. Now, keep in mind, I'm a mid-foot runner. I can't speak on behalf of heel strikers in this shoe, but again, New Balance have designed this shoe to cater for heel strikers as well, so they would have done their due diligence and made sure the carbon plate performed just as well for heel strikers as it did mid-foot strikers. However, for me, being a mid-foot runner, I found this shoe to be incredibly comfortable, incredibly smooth once I was moving. Now, again, touching on the cushioning system, it is really soft. Like underneath the foot, I haven't experienced a New Balance shoe to feel so cushioned before. Now, we usually talk Fresh Foam X with your 1080 V12s, a totally different softness with regards to the compound of foam underneath your body. In comparison to the fuel cell, this has almost like a marshmallow squishiness to it. However, you get that real push and kickback, which is exactly what this shoe is designed for and what it is targeting. Now, flipping it onto the medial side through here, we didn't touch on what foot type this is designed for because it is a niche shoe. It is your session/tempo shoe for that person who wants to get a little bit more support. However, New Balance have not injected any medial support or assistance with our blended supports construction on this shoe. Same density of fuel cell on the medial as it is the lateral side. And what we have with this cutout, which we touched on in the intro with regards to the outsole, that does work with regards to compressing the foam and storing as much energy as it possibly can through that entry point, and then generating that propulsive feel on your toe off. So again, this shoe itself, there will be quite a bit of movement from that lateral landing to that max pronation point. Now, whether you be an overpronator or a neutral foot type, everyone has a maximum pronation point. There'll be a bit of velocity because it is on a higher stack. However, the transition of this shoe is all about going on that Z axis and pushing you through your toe off region of your gait cycle. As we touched on, it is a very soft, high stack shoe. I personally love what this shoe does for me underneath my foot on those slightly progressive runs when I want to just pick up the pace as I get longer into my training session. I haven't used this for a really targeted sessions program. However, I know it would cater quite well for those people who will be searching for a session shoe and just want a little bit more support underneath the body as well. In summary, the New Balance Fuelcell Supercomp Trainer It's exciting. It's niche, but it's exciting. It's not going to be for everyone. Now, I just want to call that out because it is such a high stack shoe. And if you haven't ran in those higher stacks and we're sort of getting up to that 40 millimeter mark or above, now there's not many shoes above 40 millimeters out there. However, because it is so different, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. But if you're a person that's been running in some lighter weight tempo shoes, plated shoes, I mean, we can talk about your Endorphin Speeds out there from Saucony, even have the old Evo rides from ASICS, glide rides, plated shoes with a bit of cushioning, and you want to experience something that's going to give you a little bit more pushback but offer some protection, I would certainly throw this shoe into that conversation. Now, I have said it with the group downstairs, and we had some feedback from all of our staff members that if you're looking at a Bondi X, if you're looking at an ASICS Glide Ride version 3, you're probably going to have a sneak peek at the Supercomp Trainer as well. And talking to the guys in New Balance, I mean, this shoe here is designed for those quicker runs, those progressive runs, those sessions for people who want some protection. I wouldn't even rule this out for a race day shoe for someone who's not going to be breaking world records and jumping on the podium, because being over 40 millimeters, the shoe is illegal. However, that doesn't mean you can't use it and have some fun. So there you have it, guys. My take on the New Balance Supercomp Trainer. It's quite unique. If you've got any questions about this shoe, drop it in the comment section below. If you want to take the chat even further, reach out to our team here at Service at Sportitude, and we will, jump on any questions you may have about this shoe. Now, guys, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, hit the red button, stay notified, and we'll keep pumping out these shoe reviews for you, the running community. And until next time, be kind to one another, happy running, and we will see you out on the road. Take care.